and welcome to Healthy Knitting. My name is Rosie, your host. It is December 2nd, 2014. You can find me on Ravelry as LESPETITSLUXES. There is a group called Healthy Knitting Podcast, and I have a WordPress site, so it's healthyknitting.wordpress.com. And although I have that over there, I sometimes don't write show notes. Catalora was crying and wanted to say hello to everyone. Say hello, bunny. Hello. Catalora's nickname is Mouse. Oops. Honey, there's really nowhere for you to go here. Hang on. This is take 2 already. I'm not sure what's going on with iMovie, but it doesn't like me very much. But we'll get through it. Anyway, I wanted to say that I did not have a lot of things to show you. So, week before last, I've only been working on the scarf, and I thought, well, this is crazy. I don't have anything to show you except for the scarf. So I went in a knitting frenzy, and boy, do I have a lot to show you. I kind of went a little crazy. And so I didn't podcast this weekend, but today is Tuesday, and I have a little break in the middle of the day here, so I just thought maybe I'll just record now instead of waiting till the weekend. Because by then it'll be like a really long show if I continue at this pace of starting things, not necessarily finishing them. So, hang on, honey, this isn't going to work. There's no room. My desk is full. As you can see, I've switched my desk around because I have 2 windows, one here and one here. You can kind of see the light coming out from over here. And it just keeps washing everything out. No matter what I do, I put lights on. So I have no lights. This is all natural light, and it seems to be okay. I think when I put things close, you'll be able to see them pretty well. When I turned the light on, it washed everything out. So we'll go with this. So as you can see, well, I don't think you've seen this before, but this is where I normally keep my yarn here, and I have some more spots over there. And I told you last week I'd been selling yarn, so that meant everything that I had in the nice bags tucked away had to come upstairs and get packed and put into however I was selling them and take them out. So most of the yarn, well, not most of the yarn because most of the yarn isn't here, but a lot of the yarn that's being sold is out in the living room. It's in bags and everything is out there. So my living room is a bit of a disaster, which is kind of par for the course sometimes. It's like, I don't know about you, but I will clean everything up and it'll look beautiful for like 2 days. And then I come home and I go, what happened to my house? And it's me. I just don't recall doing it. And I kind of put things away, but then it seems like all of a sudden I have all this stuff to put away, and then I put it all away, and then it looks really nice for 2 days, and then it explodes again. It's this vicious cycle. I wish I could kind of keep it a little bit more curtailed, but it seems like there's just not enough time. I don't know. So anyway, enough about my housekeeping and how poor of a job I do. The sale's going really well. I still have stuff up for sale if you're looking for anything. eBay, I've been putting things on eBay, which has been an interesting place, I'll tell you. It's just, eBay's very interesting. A lot of different psychology going on. There's definitely different types of buyers, and I'm coming across the gamut, and it's just very interesting. It's fun. I mean, for things that I didn't want, for sure, it was really fantastic. And some stuff that, oh man, really wanted to keep. But as you can see, I have plenty of yarn here. And this is not even all of it. I mean, there's boxes down here full. It's insane. I don't know what I think that I can knit everything in sight. But I love yarn, and when a yarn is going to be discontinued and I'm never going to see it again, I get this weird thing like I have to knit with it. It has to be something. I have to make it. I know, it's insane. So anyway, I'm getting over that to the point where it's okay. Somebody will come out with something similar, and if they don't, too bad, or I will make it myself or whatever. And I really do enjoy knitting with the hand spun, so I would like to get more into that. I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. I don't like to be looking up or down at people. I just kind of like want to look at you. So anyway, that's what's been going on with the yarn. I have so many projects I want to make. I kind of decided to go through my queue and figure out what I wanted to make over the next few months, which totally doesn't hold true because I've already I've already changed that, and I'll show you that as we get along here. I'm one of those indecisive people that I will make plans to do something, but then something will trigger me to make something else like that. And we're back. Sorry, iMovie is stopping and dropping frames and things like that, and then but it is saving it, so I don't have to start over. What's with my hands today? I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know where I was. Oh, something about I have all these plans. I'm going to make X, Y, and Z, and then something will pop into my head that, oh, I need to use this yarn and I need to make that right away, which already happened, and I'll show you that. But I'm working on several things right now, which for me is not good. I like to work on one thing at a time and get through it, and I've done some of that, but I've started some things, and some stuff is not mobile, so I won't be able to take it anywhere, and something that I have to really pay attention to, and I'm not even sure if it's going to stay on the needles. We'll see. I have to do a few more rows to see if it's going to work out. Well, let me just show you all the stuff. So let me finish doing New and Good. How about that? I even wrote some stuff down. Okay, so New and Good. Beacon Open Studios, you've heard me talk about this before. They have one in Newburgh too, the town that I live in, but I don't really know too many people where I can actually partake. So if I don't know, I'm going to see. I know there's rules and regulations that you have to follow in order to participate in Beacon Open Studios, like have a studio there, but I don't know if I can rent a space from someone to actually qualify. But I would love to participate in that. But again, too, I don't know when it is. It might be May. They were almost going to scrap the whole thing. And then someone else stepped in and took over the administrative position to handle this. So it's back on, which is great because it's a really big boost for Beacon. And I don't know what it would be really weird not to have it. So many of my friends are artists and they all participate. And it's just something you do. It's kind of like, something that happens every year. So... And I've only seen the one in Newburgh once when my pastel teacher, displayed. But she did it at her house, but she has her studio at her house. I don't want people in my house. I've got cats here, and it just would be really weird having people drive all the way over to my house. But for her, because she has so many students and people who admire her work and she's very talented, people will drive to her house. It's not going to happen for me. So I'm thinking of that, and I might be here, I might not. So if I'm not here and I'm in Italy, then I won't be participating. But if I can, it would be really fun to do Beacon Open Studios. If I can even find the time to make some art for this. I mean, I have some already, but it would need to be framed, and a lot more stuff going on. I haven't had any chance to make any new art since the last time that I showed you. So anyway, okay, just looking at my notes here. Oh, I've already talked to you about those things. Okay. One of the things I wanted to talk about is when I was trying to make my goals for next year, and like I said, I can't really write out, I want to make 12 shawls in the year, because it just doesn't work that way for me. I'm a weird person where I will get out a kick and I will make 3 shawls in a row, and then I want to touch a shawl for a while. So I can't really limit myself like that, and sometimes I'll see a yarn and I'll be like, oh, I really want to make that. What can I make with that? It's just really tricky for me. So I'm kind of was looking at it from the space of, what do I need in my wardrobe? And I'm not going to make anything that I don't absolutely need, and something that is not going to work unless it's a gift, because I do a lot of that already. I make things, it's not for me, blah, 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 and I just give it away, and I just keep doing a lot of that, whereas maybe I might get somewhere if I actually made something that worked with my wardrobe in particular, like I make this for a specific reason. So you're looking at it. So I started this last week. When did I start this? It only took me 3 days to make it. This is the Shalom cardigan, but I made it with this long sleeves. It's normally you don't have sleeves, but I needed another long sleeve sweater in my wardrobe, because I tend to wear like a t-shirt and then something over it all the time, or a very thin shirt and something over it. I wear layers. Honey, what are you doing? So these buttons, honey, she doesn't want to get off my lap. These buttons I got at Rhinebeck. Oh, shoot. I'm going to pause for a second because I want to show you my other Shalom. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I'm just actually, I hope that recorded that other stuff. I have no idea. I'm getting better with iMovie. I'm trying to, I actually figured out how to put things together and write little things over when I say the wrong thing. I do watch it the next time, but most of the time I cringe and I go, oh, you totally said the wrong thing, and then I can't fix it. So now I've learned how to do that. So anyway, I made this Shalom cardigan, but I ran out of yarn. I only had enough to make a short sleeve sweater. This is with Taki. It's an organic cotton. It's organic cotton, organic wool. I totally forgot the name of it, and it's not available anymore. I bought it, I think, at a closeout from Webs. Anyway, these are the same type of buttons. So these cute little clay buttons, and I don't remember the name. I used to have her card up there. I think it's Melissa something or another. But these little buttons, can you see these? Aren't they cute? So they're kind of like a blue color. And then I have 3 more, and I have another sweater that I'm going to make with, I don't know, it's somewhere up there, Eco Cloud in a natural color, but that one will be a short sleeve. It's not the same pattern, but it's very similar. There's buttons at the top, and it just flows open, and I kind of like that. I kind of tend not to wear things closed unless it's a coat. Like if I'm at home, I don't need, I mean, zippers are easier, but I put zippers in knitting and they never look right. They are always wavy, even when they're done really. I mean, I did a really good job, but it's still, it's not my thing anyway. I mean, was just wearing a zippered cardigan today that I did not make, but it's I think the only one that I own, except for the ones that I have made. Actually, one I just gave away a couple weeks ago, and the other one's a coat. And I put a zipper in it. It didn't have a zipper in it, and I put one in it to keep the lines clean on the front, because it was basically collar and cuffs that were cable-y and big. Anyway, so let me show you. I made this with Aslan Trends guanaco, which is actually an alpaca yarn. Oops. And I used, how many did I use? I think I had 5 or 6 balls, and this is all I have left. So I must have had 5. I must have had 5 balls, because the body took 3 and the arms each took an extra, took a ball with a little left over. I made the sleeves extra long because I like extra long sleeves, but I made it with a garter stitch cuff so that I can flip it up, and I still have the same style. And it's still a decent length if it's not cuffed, but I kind of like it uncuffed too. So I almost thinking, I haven't blocked it yet, but I've been wearing it like crazy, so it might come down a little bit more. I'm thinking of maybe ripping out the bind off edge and just adding maybe 2 more rounds if I can, and then it'll just give me a little bit more, but I still need to block it for sure. I don't even know what this yarn is going to look like blocked because I didn't block my swatch. Did I make a swatch? I don't even know if I made a swatch. I think I might have just cast on. I don't remember what size needles I used, but I do, in the process of all of this, I found some needles that I thought I had lost. I don't know what I did. You know, normally I put things back all the time in the same spot, otherwise I have no idea what I've done with it. And so what happens when I put things in a different spot, and then I go, oh, I'll remember where I did, and I don't. Just like my car keys. I had to go looking all over for my car keys because I couldn't find them yesterday. But I have a spare in my wallet. And they were in my coat pocket, which I have done once before and didn't remember that I did that, and had the person come and make new keys, and it was very expensive, and found them 3 days later. So I tend to keep the car keys in my pocket or on the table or in the car. And I don't know why I didn't do it that time. So anyway, so I love this cardigan. I'm not really a big fan of this neckline on me, but it looks a lot better with a scarf on, which I usually wear too because my neck gets really cold. Or I don't know, I'm a turtleneck kind of person, so I kind of like things up around my neck, but I'm always wearing scarves because I have 10 million of them, and so that's kind of how I wear things. So So anyway, I thought I would show you that. And this one is not holding up so well under the arms. It's all felted and matted, and it needs a cleaning, and it needs a defuzzing. But other than that, I really like this as well. It's just the short sleeves are not that fantastic in the winter. So this one's great. Now this yarn, it's very, very warm because it's alpaca. And when I'm wearing I've been wearing this week, but over a long sleeve shirt. And this week I had on what I had on before, which was under my zipped up cardigan. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had this to show you, so let me just put it on. So I have a tank top on. When I first put it on, it felt a little itchy at first, but now that I've been wearing it, it doesn't feel that itchy. It's actually a pretty soft yarn. I would knit with this again. It's definitely great for keeping you warm. Holy cow. I mean, I'm like really hot with this on right now. My house, oh, more news. My temperature is getting better now. I think I've mentioned to you before I have a little bit of a thyroid issue. And my body temperature is now getting more stable and more normal, which is fantastic. And so my house is set at 65, and I think I can probably lower that to maybe 63. There's a squirrel. Because I'm very comfortable now. Whereas before I was always freezing. When I came back from Florida, I thought it was the not being acclimated to the weather. You know, Florida's really warm. You come up here in the winter, but no, it was my thyroid was already getting screwed up down there, and so I was freezing. My body temperature was 95 all the time. Like I was just constantly frozen, even in bed. And even when I was in Italy this summer, I was sleeping with clothes on, wool socks, 2 feather comforters, sheets. Anything else? Maybe another thing on top. And I was like, okay, comfortable. Now I have 1 feather bed. I brought one back with me, feather comforter, and my sheets, and I'm dying. I have to take off my wool socks and strip down to shorts, and I'm okay because I'm finally feeling normal. So hooray for that. Sorry, something's beeping on my computer here. Anyway, you didn't really need to know all of that, but so right now this is very hot. Like I'm starting to sweat, but I'm not going to take it off. Okay, so more things to show you. So I made this. So if you're looking for a quick, fast project, bulky yarn that doesn't take a lot, you can make long sleeves or short sleeves. Shalom cardigan is really easy. I did put in 3 buttons. I think they only have 1 in the pattern, but I kind of like the 3 just to keep this shut and then the rest be open. I showed you this yarn before. This is Collinette 0.5, and I had made two scarves, and I never wore them. They were just a tad bit too short. And then I had another ball of another color, maybe 0.5 or something else. It was the thick and thin yarn, and I never wore that either. Or never wore that. I had that left over in my thing. I don't even know what it is that it turned into, but there was a little bit left over. So I took all of it and I made the Gaptastic cowl. I have not woven in my ends yet. I am not fond of it, quite honestly. The colors are kind of crazy. I mean, they're all different colors, but that's not, it's just that I don't really like thick and thin yarn. I don't. And when I put this on over my head and swirl it, as you would, to wrap it twice, it doesn't look right. So I thought that probably the only way I might wear this thing is, and my thing is starting to freeze again. Come on, iMovie. Would be just to wear it like this. I don't know. I might just give it away. I'm not knitting with it again. This is 2 times. So, not a big fan of this one. I love my last Gaptastic cowl. Oh, and it turned out too big. That's the problem. I didn't check the gauge. I used the same needles as I did with the Harmony, but this is super, super long and skinnier, and it doesn't look right. So we'll see. If I am not going to wear it, it will go to the donate pile. I just don't want to see that yarn ever again. You know, when you just kind of like, I'm done. I've had it. So those are 2 FOs. I count it an FO even though the ends are not woven in. What else am I doing? So Oh, goodness. All right, I told you guys before, and I'm sorry, I don't have enough places to put things, so I've got stuff buried. I have yarn to make this coat, and something just didn't seem right from the Noro Now book. You see that? So I have the yarn for this. I had exactly the yarn called for in my size. And I started looking at it, and I was telling you before that seems really big, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did the math, and their schematic is wrong. It's actually smaller than what the schematic is, but the schematic does not work for the amount of yarn, so I would definitely run out of yarn. I don't know what they were thinking. I think something totally went wrong, unless it's me. Very well could be. But I was supposed to use 4 skeins of Dayco, which is this type of boucle yarn, which is not fun to work with, by the way. I have worked with a yarn like this once before, and I don't recall it being this horrible. It is slow as all slow. Oh my God. I'm a fast knitter. When something slows me down this badly, and it's actually the knit stitch, which is really slow. I'm fast at purling too, but I'm super, super fast at just knitting. That's why I stuff knitting anything in the round. I'm like golden. I can knit, but I don't really like knitting in the round. Rather. But the purl stitch is much faster than the knit stitch, and I'm not exactly sure why, but it's a pain in the behind to knit with. And I was supposed to use 5 skeins of Odori, which is this type of yarn here, which is a silk blend. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this one. It has the feel of silk, that soft part of silk that kind of feels like cottonish, but soft cotton. I really like that, actually. I like that a lot. So the whole body is made with this, and also the sleeves, and then the cuff, and the collars, and this part and the belt is all made with Odori. This is half of a skein already knit of Dayco, this one. I am not even a quarter of the way done of what this pattern says, and it's growing as I speak. Like, I even went on smaller needles. It's just getting really big, and then I heard everybody goes, oh my gosh, this yarn really relaxes and gets wider. So I have a really big problem here. This all has to get ripped out, but I wanted to at least show you first. So I'm having a bit of a dilemma. I don't know what I can't do this pattern. There's not going to be enough yarn, which is par for Noro, and nobody has knit with this before, or done this project before, so I can't even say what's happened, but I have seen what people have knit with the Odori before, and the Dayco, and what they've said, and there's a couple of Dayco patterns in here, and they use about the same amount of yarn, like this top here, which is an A-line, and it does get a little big, but that uses, I think, the same amount of yarn as that coat, and that coat is longer, and I don't know. I get concerned with Noro because I have made a pattern once before out of one of their books, and it was 2 skeins off out of the pattern. Said it took 2 skeins. I was like, okay, great. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I guess it's going to happen, right? No, it needed 4. It was my knitting bag that I made. I think I might have showed that to you. So I don't want to knit a lot and have this not work out. So what I'm going to do is I'm making another coat right now. I decided to put that on hold. And oh, I lost my iPad. I don't know where it is, so I can't even pull stuff up and show it to you. I feel bad because I don't know how else to show you things, except for just to tell you the name of it, and I don't have the picture. So the Global Cable Coat by Jennifer Hagen. And I didn't print out the picture. I don't always go from the books. So it's a cabled coat. This is what, I don't want to show to the pattern, but this is what the back looks like. Oops. Right there. So it's an all-over cable, and it calls for like a, okay, this episode's just going to be totally spliced together like crazy. iMovie kept stopping. It stopped again. So anyway, I like the shape of this coat, and I'm thinking of making the schematics once I figure out a better gauge for this stuff from Noro, and just kind of working that in and making that type of coat, but with those materials. No cables, obviously. I don't need the cables, but I just want the shape. You know, the other coat was a definite square, and I kind of would like a little bit of waist shaping, and I don't want sleeves that start down here either. It's not a good look for me. If I could knit it and then knit the sleeves down, that would be fine. I'll do that instead of trying to set them in. If any of you have worked with a boucle yarn, I have, and that's the sweater that I gave away not too long ago that zipped up, and I put the wrong kind of zipper in where you can't actually open it up. And I'm like, I don't want this anymore. I'm not putting a new zipper in it. You can pull it over your head and wear it. The color doesn't look good on me. I'm done. But it's not easy to seam up things. So if I can pick up stitches around the arm and then go down, that would be fine. So I'll do that, and I'll work on this, and I'll get that all set for January. But I want to get this global coat done this month, in the month of December. Problem is, okay, so here it is. You work all the way around till you divide for the sleeves, and then you just work the back and then the two side panels. Do a 3-needle bind off, and then cast on and work your way down the arm, and then put on the collars. Not very complicated. The cables aren't complicated, except I can't see them. This is very dark yarn. This is Kathmandu Queensland Collection Kathmandu Chunky, and it's really not that chunky. There are times when I'm knitting with this when it feels like an Aran weight. See, it's not all that chunky. It's stuck on something. Sorry. So anyway, the problem is that I can't see what I'm doing. And if the cables, and I know this already, that to do a cable project on dark yarn is kind of silly because you can't see the cables very well. But there were a couple projects or at least one that was done in dark yarn, and it looked okay. I have tons of this. Oops. Right up there in the corner. Right there. Like 30 balls of it. And so I know I'm not going to run out. And this is a cabled coat, and cables take up a lot of yarn, and I don't want to get part of the way done with a winter coat and then I don't have any sleeves. So I think I'm going to sneeze. So we'll see how this goes. I'm only 3 rows in, so I have to do my back row. You can't even see it. It's garter stitch for a while, and then there's just 3 rows of stocking net with cables. And I already messed up a little bit, but you can't see. I just took a stitch out somewhere else and added a stitch right at the beginning somewhere else, so nobody will ever know. But I figured I'll get 1 round through, which is I think like 12 rows, and see how those cables show up. And if they don't show up fairly good, you won't see this project next time. If they do, you'll see some work on that. So that's one thing that I'm working on. The cable scarf. I don't even know if I'm sure I've knit on this since I've seen you. So I'm here. This is the chevron scarf, and I don't know who this is by. I told you who it was last time I recorded, but I don't know who it is now, and I don't have, like I said, I don't know where my iPad is, which is really strange because it should be somewhere in here, in this room, which is where I last saw it, and now I have no idea. So in my December, I wanted to make the coat, constantly work on the scarf, because that's just something I'm going to bring to knitting. I'm not bringing anything complicated to knitting. I can't even see that yarn. I have to have the light on to be able to do it. And then I want to make a hat and mitten set, and I looked this up. Someone has been able to make this hat and mittens with 1 skein of this. This is Cascade Heritage 150 paints. Isn't that pretty? it's kind of reds and dark reds, that light color is showing up way lighter than it really is. It's not at all. It's very, yeah, it's more like that. Deep reds, and I like red. I like dark colors on me, which is another good reason for me selling things in the stash that are just not the right color for me. I have projects that I'm like, oh, that's really pretty, but the color looks awful on you. And yes, I can dye if I wanted to, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you know, sometimes you just want to knit with the stuff that's already done. Like the stuff behind me is fine. I mean, there's a couple light colored things in there that white is okay. I don't mind white, and I don't mind cream, but the pale colors don't really look good on me at all. So anyway, this yarn would be great. Martina Bem has a hitch hat and a hitch mittens, and they looked really, really cool. I don't know if any of you have seen them. I'll show you the picture of the hat. Here's the hitch hat, because I didn't print out the mittens yet. So I'm going to ball this up, and this is my project for December, was to work on the scarf, work on the global coat, and do this hat and mitten set. Until this morning when I said, oh, you really should have something else on the needles that you don't have to really pay attention to. Because this I would. I have never knit like this before. It's some really interesting directions, and the mittens are even more so, and so I really need to do it. That's another project to do at home. So I started the Opus Spectacum hat. And I had been wanting to work with these. This is Dolce, which I pretty much almost sold all of it. I still have, I can't say that. I've sold 2 batches of 10. I still have a red, a light green, and a chocolate brown. And I'm kind of hoping the chocolate brown doesn't sell because I really like it. Actually, I bought it to make a project, a wrap. And I actually had projects in mind for all of it, but am I ever going to get to it? No. And anyway, Kaskade Dolce. I have black and like this greeny. It's, yeah, that's about accurate. And I always thought these would look really nice with that hat. And again, I can't show you a picture because I don't have my iPad. But basically, it's a little beret. And I like berets. I like hats. It's really great for keeping my head warm and also for keeping my hair under control in the winter. Just put on a hat. But it has a change of color. So one row is one color, next row is another color, and it does kind of like one of these type. What almost looks like almost like a chevron, but not. Maybe it is a chevron. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the rest of the pattern. All I did was cast on. So I have, I think, 2 rows cast on this morning of just 1 by 1 rib. So I think I need 7 of these, and then I can start adding the color, and that would be really fun. And it's something that I would wear because I do like these colors together, and I've wanted to make this hat forever. I actually, when I bought this yarn, I bought it for that project. So much for me making everything all complete and going, oh, I'm just going to make the coat, finish the scarf, and make this hat and mitten set. What do? I start on something else. Craziness, because now I've got too much going on. I'm not going to start the hat until I get this one finished. I don't even want to ball up the yarn until then, because that's a little too much craziness. I still need to figure out that other coat. Spinning, I think that's it for knitting. Yes. Spinning, I did spin a little more. I can't show it to you. It's on the bobbin, which is not even in this room. But I got into the green part. So I just started, I did all the red. I went to my friend's house last week, and well, a bunch of us did, and we got together and spun the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And that was really fun. It's coming out beautiful. This merino is absolutely fabulous. I'm pretty sure I got this at Webb's, and it was almost this color. It's not like a white, but it's like a mauve-y taupey color, and then I just over dyed it, and I absolutely love it. And since I've been doing that, I'm kind of like, you know, I should probably do some more of my of dyeing things. It was really fun. I don't know what I'm going to make with this yet, but it's going to be chain plied so I can keep the colors together. So it depends on the yardage I have left. But it is as soon as that's the other thing I want to do. As soon as I get something off of the wheel and it's been finished, it's got to go into a project right away. I want to start knitting more with my hand spun. So I need to finish that scarf because I always want to have a hand spun project going on as well, and that is hand spun. And so if I can finish that up while I get this finished, then maybe I can make a lot more things with my hand spun and not collect yarn. Okay, so as I was going through my yarn, I found some stuff that I had that I totally forgot I even had. And this I got from Elan, which sadly, I'll show you again in a second. They've changed their format now, and they're on, I think I may even mentioned this, they're on Amazon now with the Amazon shop. Well, I kind of liked how they had it before. I don't mind change, but yeah. I used to have, I had like 40, I think I only needed $60 worth of a yarn thing to get an extra $50, because every time you bought yarn, it went to this little pool that said you spent X amount of dollars, and if you spend $500, you get a $50 off your next order or something like that. And I was so close, but I didn't need any more yarn, so that had to go, because now they've discontinued with that. They're just on Amazon, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, in that last order that I got, I picked up this, which is A Series SO2, which is untreated blue-faced Leicester. And this is a 2-ply, sport weight, I believe, 378 yards. So I want to find a shawl for this. It's 2-ply, and I'm going to dye it, and I don't know what I'm going to dye it yet. It might be kettle dyed, because I don't particularly make shawls with crazy colors. Like, I like tonal or solid, heathery type kind of colors for shawls. So I'm just not sure what, like I said, my new thing this year is it has to be something that I need. So we'll see if I even cast this on this year, because I have plenty over there of lace weight yarn and yarn for making lace weight projects, or lace projects, not lace weight, because I use a lot of different weights, but it's the yarn type that is in particular for the project, which is usually a 2-ply for my lace projects. And I also have this, which is a sock weight yarn, which is A Series FO3, which is 80% superwash blue-faced Leicester and 20% nylon. And this is, this is more than a 2-ply. Otherwise, I would not use it for socks, believe me. I wear through socks if they are not made like super iron type yarns. So I'd like to dye this too, and I want to dye this a solid as well, because I like some pattern socks, and I do have I don't have enough of the kind of yarns where you can actually see the patterns in socks. So I want to dye that up. I thought that would be really fun. I like it. It's very soft. Both of them are very soft. They have a very interesting hand to them. Just feeling the different plies, and obviously this one's softer, the 2-ply, than this one. This one feels more woolly with the 3 plies in it for the socks, which makes sense. This is way drapey, and this is more utilitarian. I also have something that I bought a while ago from White Barn Farm, and she's local. She is part of the spinning guild up in Hudson. Oh my gosh, it's snowing. I knew we were supposed to get like a mixed bag of weather today, but I didn't know it was just start snowing now. I thought if it hadn't started this morning, it wasn't going to snow. So anyway, that's a surprise. We did get snow the day before Thanksgiving. Oh, how was your Thanksgiving? I did not do anything. I was supposed to go to my cousin's that night. We lost power here that morning for, I don't know, a few hours, and I'm so grateful that I wasn't hosting people at my house. Can you imagine trying to cook dinner? You have the turkey in the oven and then there's no power. And my area was not the only one. Like, a lot of people lost power. We had a very heavy snow, and I still have a couple of trees that, not this, well, yeah, this one, my little maples, they still have the leaves are dead, but they're still on the tree. And I don't know why. This is 2 years in a row now that they're hanging on like all winter. It's very, very strange. So anyway, a lot of limbs came down. It was very heavy snow. And yeah, so we lost power. When I was checking to tell them that I lost power, I mean, I was scrolling through the list of all of the towns that they were saying were out and we don't know when the power's coming back on. I mean, I'm really grateful that I didn't lose power all day, and it was only for a little bit. But the thing is once I lost power, I was like, well, I don't want to shower. I can't shower now. And then it got to be late, and I wasn't planning on eating at my cousin's because I think I've told you I have dietary restrictions right now, and I'm not going to be like, can you just make what works for me? I was like, no, never mind. I'll just go visit after everybody's eaten. But they live an hour away, and I didn't shower yet. It was so peaceful and quiet, and I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to, wow, it's really coming down. I think I'm going to just stay home. So I did, and I had a weekend like that, and it was just very peaceful and quiet, which was nice. I enjoyed it very much. So anyway, I don't know how I got distracted with that. White Barn Farm, and this is, she has Cormo sheep there that she raises, and she also has a yarn shop. And so this is 2-ply woolen spun sport weight, 255 yards. And it's not really it's natural. I don't think that they've done anything to the color, so it's not like a white, so I don't think it's been bleached. But I would like to do something with this as well, and 255 yards. I don't know, it's super squishy and soft, and it might make a nice hat and cowl set, or something along those lines where I get to touch it, because really, I love Cormo. It's one of my favorite breeds. Cormo and Border Leicester. I used to have Border Leicesters, so they will always have a soft spot in my heart. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think I'm not tired. I don't know what's going on. They have a soft spot in my heart. They are the cutest. If you don't know what a Border Leicester looks like, they are cuter than a blue-faced Leicester for sure. They're absolutely adorable. They're really fun sheep. If I were to get sheep again, I would get this breed, because their wool is kind of multi-purpose to me. You can breed them. Oh, I think we're gonna lose the thing again. Okay, is it calming down? I have seen some really soft Border Leicester, and I've seen more coarse. So I think you can breed them to make them what you need them to be. You can use them for outerwear. You can, if you take care of the fleece and you have a nice fleece, you can use it for close to the skin wear. I really love them. Sorry, now I'm like itchy. And they're super cute. And they don't have hair on their legs. They don't have wool on their legs or on their face. But the rest of them, so they're just so cute. And they're not big sheep either. Well, the mama was big. She mowed me over and knocked me down a few times. She was a bit insane. But I'll tell you, they were like super hardy and chased dogs. So I never had to worry about them. They just went off and did whatever they wanted to do. And I just had to catch them during shearing and hoof trimming, and they weren't much of a problem. So they were really fun sheep, but they're super cute. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Like it's gonna matter to you. I have to go get something. Okay, so I borrowed a book when I went over to my friend's house when we all got together for spinning. I had mentioned to her on Thursday before that there's a new spinning book out, and she's like, oh, I have it. And I'm like, what do you mean you have it? It just came out. She's like, yeah, I already have it. So it's called The Spinner's Book of Fleece. So I borrowed it, and I've been reading it. It is by Beth Smith. I also have, this is my book. This is a Fleece and Fiber source book. This is like incredibly huge book resource on the different breeds, this is a lot shorter version of that. It doesn't have all the breeds, but it has the basic characteristics. It tells you a lot more about how to card, specifically how to card, how to comb, how different spinning methods. She actually goes through and tells you all about the sampling and how she sampled, which is she spun it from the tip end, the butt end. She's woven with it, knitted with it. I mean, really, she's done so much sampling, and I found that to be really, really interesting. And just reading up about the breeds again, I have not read every last word, but I've read quite a bit of it, and I found it to be super, super interesting. So I just wanted to show you really quick. So this is what a border Leicester looks like. Aren't they cute? They're just wearing this cute little jacket. I mean, they're just the sweetest little things. And then a blue-faced Leicester is a little different. Their face is a little different. This is a blue-faced Leicester. And I definitely prefer the border Leicesters look. I would have them again. I would love to have sheep again one day, but I'd like to do it in Italy. I'd like to, I would love to do it there. That would be really fun, actually. Where I was on the mountain, I think I told you we went for the hike, and there were goats up there and cows and sheep, and the guy was making the cheese, and he had the pigs there and the cow. I mean, it was just incredible. They're running all over the place, and I need to stop. Okay, I'm gonna have to have 50 pieces of film to put together here. iMovie, between me and iMovie, like I keep stopping. So what I need to do actually is find my iPad so I can show you pictures from up on this mountain where all the animals were running around, the cows, the sheep, goats, and just incredible. If I put them on my screensaver, so sometimes when I walk away from my computer and I come back, they're all up there and they're just so beautiful. If I was a cow or goat, that would really be the place I would want to be all summer long, living on the top of this mountain. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, if you're a spinner, I would check this book out. It is at not my local library, but it's in my library system. I am not allowed to take it out because I am not a patron of that. Well, they won't do interlibrary loans. If I drove to Goshen, I could go pick it up myself, but I'm not going to do that because my friend has lent me her copy. But I'm sure if you check your local library system, see if they have a copy. It might be something for you to check out, see if it's something you actually want to own. I like to do that first. I like digital books better anyway, but I like to actually check it out first to see if it's something that I want to invest in, because I don't need anything that I don't need, basically. So anyway, that's a very good book. And I didn't really plan on doing a review on that. I totally forgot all about it, so that's why I'm not doing an in-depth review on that book. What else did I want to talk to you about? A couple things, and then we'll get finished here. Looking at my notes. Oh, okay. So I have a couple of tips that are... Hi, buddy. You want to come up here? Come here. Buddy wants to say hello. Come on, bud. Watch your back. Oh, he hit his back coming up the thing. Are you okay? Want to say hello to Buddy? Say hi, Buddy. Oh, what's the matter, baby doll? Okay, so we'll get some buddy hugs while we talk about the rest of this. So as I was driving last week, I was not on the main roads, but I was driving straight, and this is straight through. I don't have a stop sign, and the person coming this way, perpendicular to me, had a stop sign, stopped the stop sign, and then proceeded to drive through it. Meanwhile, I didn't have the stop sign, so thank God we were all going very slow, but I had to slam on my brakes not to hit this person. And this time of the year, people have got way too much on their mind as it is. First of all, he was on the phone, so he wasn't paying attention, and probably had some other things on his mind. I am very happy that I was paying attention. I usually do. I'm not saying I'm the best driver, but I try to look at what other people are doing so that I can avoid what they're not doing that's going to work out right. And believe me, I make my fair share of mistakes. But what I see most people do quite often is at intersections, they're not paying attention. And that means going through red lights, not stopping for stop signs, stopping for a stop sign and not knowing that I don't need to stop for a stop sign. And we all don't need an accident this time of the year. We don't need them any time of the year, but because I think people have so much, you know, it's getting to be the holiday season, they've got a lot going on. Just be mindful when you are driving that intersections are the place where a lot of traffic accidents happen. Ask me because I've taken a driver's safety course to get points off my thing for speeding, which I don't do anymore. Oh, here's Natalia. Hello. Goodness, you're getting full of kitties today. Hi. So yeah, I just wanted to mention to just be really wary of that. Just because you have the right of way doesn't mean that someone else is not paying attention and that you shouldn't be. So when you get to an intersection, even if you have the right of way, just watch to see what other people are doing. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is, well, I have an old house. My house was built in 1928, and there's holes everywhere. Mice can get into my basement very easily. Sometimes I hear them in the wall over there. Hello, baby. They don't go too far, and sometimes they come, but sometimes they get up into this part of the house, which is crazy because I have, cats. I was like, this is natural selection at its best for a mouse that comes up here, because that's pretty insane. I don't mind mice. I don't particularly care for rats, and I don't have rats in this house, but when I lived in Vermont, because I had the animals, and when you're on a farm, you tend to have rats. I have had some rats occasionally in my house, but again, I have cats, so usually they will handle all this stuff. Rats are a little bit not so nice. Mice are very, very nice, and they don't really want to attack you where a rat will attack you. I mean, and it's not like I don't like rats. I just don't like to be bitten by things and attacked, and I've been bitten by a chipmunk before, which are cute, and I was rescuing it, but still, it doesn't know that I'm trying to save it. It probably thinks I'm huge and I'm gonna hurt it, so it bit me, but all ended well for the chipmunk. So the point is, if you ever have a mouse in your house, the easiest way to catch the mouse, if it's cornered, which is the easiest thing to do, is to get a plastic bag, a big one, like with a big area like this. No. That's open. And if you put it where the mouse is pointing in that direction, open, just lay it on the floor, open, and then you can kind of like scoot the mouse with something, it will run into the bag, and then you can pick the bag up and you can take it outside, which is fantastic. And I've had to do this twice in the middle of the night because Natalia, my mouser, has cornered 2 mice, and one I didn't rescue it, she killed it. It ran somewhere, I couldn't catch it at that point, and then I had to go to bed and then found it dead in the morning. And the thing is, you don't really want your animals to be eating the mice because they can carry worms and things like that, and then the worms can get from one animal to the next. So it's best to take these things out of your house as quickly as possible. I don't like traps because I don't think they're humane. I did use the little have-a-heart traps, and those work great with a little piece of chocolate in there, but I don't have those anymore, and for me to keep trapping the mouse, I mean, if they stay in the basement, I don't care. I really don't. They can live down there. I'm going to drop the frames again. But I don't want them upstairs with the cats, and my cats can't go in my basement anymore, which is why there's probably more mice down there than there should be, but they come upstairs. I don't even know how they're getting up here because I've blocked all the holes, so they must be smarter than me, which doesn't surprise me because they're little and they can get anywhere that they want, little tiny holes. Okay, so that's it. So I taught you how to catch a mouse and how to be careful when driving this time of the year. And the last thing is just a quick healthy tip, and that is about fragrances. And we talked a little bit about that last time, but this time of the year, people have lots of candles burning because they smell good, and they have pine scented, and they have this. And when I was a little girl, my mom had plastic fake trees. And so, because they didn't smell pretty, she would spray air freshener that was pine scented. So the house always smelled like pine, even though we didn't have a pine tree. I just want to give you another heads up that these things are not safe. They're phthalates, anything you can smell that lingers in the air. It's the same thing when you have clothes. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but laundry detergents that when you can still smell the clothes 2 weeks later, that's phthalates, and you really don't want that kind of stuff because it's sorry, Buddy's being silly. It's disrupting. They're hormone disruptors, and so you really want, when you have laundry detergents and things like that, just get the plain with nothing in it. Something that's biodegradable is even better because we're just putting more stuff into the system that doesn't need to be there. So biodegradable and unscented. Uncolored is also good because you don't need the colorings as well. There are a few brands that are out there that have absolutely nothing in them, and they're fantastic. I actually use kookaburra to wash my clothes. It's the same stuff I use to wash the wool, but I like it, and it smells good, and I don't need to use a lot, so I use that. But I'm sure you can find something in your area that is good for you that way. But just watch out when you are, and be aware when you are around these things. If you have them and you're ready to bring them out, you might want to think twice about the scented candles. You can use essential oils. Those are nice, and they're not going to cause any problems for you. So think about switching. And there are candle makers out there that use only essential oils and don't use the lead wicks. So you want to make sure that there's no lead in your wicks. And I would honestly say I would be really, really careful about buying any imported things that might not be of any standards at all and say one thing and are another completely different thing until they get caught. Just saying. I'm not going to name any names, but there are some, if it's super, super cheap, there's a reason. And, just because something doesn't cost a lot doesn't mean that it's going to be good for your health. And we have enough troubles with imported things that we don't know the sources of things, and then later on they're getting recalled because there's lead paint in it or there's poison or something. Just be very wary about what you purchase because it really does make a difference to your health. Okay, so that was it. I have no idea how long this is because I have now to put everything together and see what happens with that. But thank you for watching, and thank you also for the people who've sent me comments and things like that. I really appreciate hearing from you and all the good stuff. Like, people are letting me know about changes that they're making and things that are how they're changing and how their families are changing and what has been a result of that. So every little bit that you do helps. So even if you feel like you can't do a lot, just do one thing. Start small and do one thing, and just do that one thing until you can handle taking on another thing. Lifestyle changes can be very complicated for people who have busy lives, and the last thing you want to do is feel overwhelmed. You just want to get one thing under your belt. And that one little thing will absolutely make you feel better. If you can do one thing, I would say to test your water and drink more water. And I've explained how to do that on the other podcasts with how much water you should be drinking during the day, and see how much better you feel, because really people notice a huge difference. And it's one of the simplest things you can do, because drinking water doesn't require any extra time or effort. That's like going to the gym or memberships. It's just getting a filter, making sure you're taking care of the container that it's in, and drinking it. Okay, so anyway, I'll see you guys next week probably, because I should have some progress on things. And is there something going on? There is something going on next week. But, oh yeah, there's a lot going on next weekend. But we'll see. I'll try anyway. Okay. All right, thanks for now. Ciao.